Hey guys, Coach Mike here, and it's already been a super busy summer here at Base. So much so, in fact, that I haven't had an opportunity to update the exercise of the month for June. So here in July, I'm going to hit you with 2 drills instead of our usual 1. The first up is going to be a strengthening exercise, and it's called the unilateral or one-legged Romanian deadlift. Now this exercise targets something known as the posterior chain, which is the glutes, the hamstrings, and the spinal erectors working together as a unit. Great exercise for helping to ward off knee injuries, which makes it something that female athletes are definitely going to want to include in their training routine. The second is something called open books, and this is an exercise that's going to help improve thoracic mobility, or the mobility of this middle spine area up through here in the upper back. A lot of times when athletes are restricted and have lack of range of motion in this area, it sets the stage for things like shoulder injuries. So let's take a look at how to do these 2 drills, the unilateral Romanian deadlift and open books, right now.
All right, so we have Nicole all set up to help us out here with the one-legged or unilateral Romanian deadlift. Now for this one, you can start out using your own body weight, or you can use some light resistance, either dumbbells or kettlebells, or a medicine ball like Nicole's holding here. Now to begin, she's going to start by holding the ball between her hands, and the first thing I'm going to have her do is pinch her shoulder blades together so she activates that upper back. She's going to work her left leg, so she's going to soften the left knee. Notice the way she bends it slightly. And now from here, the only place she's going to move is at the hips. As she goes over, tries to get as close to parallel to the ground as she can, pauses for a second, and drives back up. Excellent job, Nicole. Notice the way she keeps a nice flat back. Okay, I usually like to tell my athletes to pretend they're balancing a glass of water on that tailbone, trying not to let the hips release to either side. A little higher with that back leg, Nicole. Excellent job. You can see that the left knee maintains the same amount of bend, and she's really driving into the floor with the heel to activate those glutes and hamstrings. And that's the unilateral Romanian deadlift, and you want to make sure to work both sides and do anywhere between 8 and 12 repetitions per set. From this unique angle, we're set up for our next exercise, which is called the open book. For this, Nicole's going to get down onto her side, and she's going to make sure that her knees are bent 90 degrees. You can see she's got her torso up nice and tall, and her shoulders are out in line with her hips, arms out in line with her shoulders. Now from here, she's going to keep those knees together, and what she's going to do is rotate through that thoracic spine, that middle back area, and try to get that arm down onto the ground. Excellent job, and she comes back over. Now you may not get it all the way down the first time or two. You may have to work on these a little bit, but each time you're trying to make the movement a little bit bigger. This is a nice dynamic flexibility movement to help increase range of motion, improve the mobility of that thoracic spine. You can see the way the knees stay together, the hips stay stacked, and she's really getting some nice mobility out of that thoracic area. Now this is the beginner's version of the open book. If you have no trouble with this and are ready for the advanced version, what you do is straighten out that bottom leg. And now we're going to drop that knee all the way down onto the ground. And this is going to make it much more difficult to get that arm down. Go ahead, Nicole. She's going to keep that slight bend in that right elbow. Now you can see she's not quite making it down, so she's a little bit in between the beginner and the advanced version. But the most important thing is not to let that top knee get away from the ground here. Work on increasing your mobility, and before long you'll find that you're able to get your arm and the back of your shoulder down onto the ground without allowing the top leg to move. And that's the beginner and advanced version of the open book, and as I said, it's a great way to improve thoracic mobility and help reduce your likelihood for shoulder injuries.